Hello beer tubers and welcome to yet another brewery showcase with me, Peter, the master of hoppers. Today checking out some Canadian craft beer. It's not too often we get Canadian craft beer in Europe. We're seeing it more than we did in the past. Actually, I've reviewed a good amount on the channel. Like for example, Outcast Brewing or Flying Monkeys or Dieu du Ciel, which is one of the old school, actually an old school brewery. It'd be fun to try again that we haven't seen over here in a long time is Unibrew. I remember loving their beers way back in the day. But today we're checking out some Willibald beers. They're based in Ontario in Canada. And what was the city called? It was Ayr, I think, AYR in Ontario. And I got these courtesy of Beerjum. Beerjum got a selection of their beers and they were kind enough to send them over along with a lot of other new releases they got. And so far, pouring these out, especially the first one was cracking pouring. It smelled pretty nice. In terms of age of these, they're all IPAs, so we often talk about age in these in IPA videos and whatnot. And these are around, they're from August and September, so they're fairly fresh compared to some of the 8-bit beers, for example. But they smell a little bit fresher too. So as far as I can gather, Willibald is quite famous for making hazy IPAs, so it's quite appropriate that we try some from them. So the first one we're going to check out is Broken Galaxy Double Dry Hop Edition. Then we're also going to be checking out their Southern Pine, which is a double IPA, and finally a triple IPA called Where the Fuck is Our Air. I think that's Air, AYR. That's how you'd say it. I love that. That's such a silly name, but it's fun because people are probably like, where is that place in the world? So we're going to start off with this one, double dry hopped Broken Galaxy, 6.1%. This one is the only one where the hops aren't on the label, but it is double dry hop with Citra, Galaxy, and Simcoe hops. And pouring out, this looks exactly like my kind of IPA. Pin bright and golden yellow. I love this color in IPAs. Not to say I dislike more orange colors, but this just screams more at me when I see it. Because initially I think drier, less sweet, more dank IPA, which is what I like. So nice white head on there. Let's check out the aroma on this one. And also, of course, big thanks to Beerjum for the beers. Yeah, that smells very nice. Definitely some nice dankness going on there. Man, again, this is fun. Some of these really have reminded me of not some of these, but some of the beers, not Willibald beers, but the beers that I got from Beerjum. Some of them have reminded me a little bit of kind of like the European take on hazies from a lot of UK breweries that also do these more light, easygoing, drinkable, bright, hop-centric beers. Dea, Verdant, something like that. It's like it's very nice, bright, dank, snappy. Saying it has Galaxy, there is a bit of maybe more green melon than overripe cantaloupe because it's more bright. And yeah, nice, snappy, citrus zesty, like lemony, pithy citrus. Hints of pineapple or something like that. It's very light. It's almost like creamy pineapple. It's weird to say, but yeah, it just smells really nice. Pithy, bright, dank, singy. Like my kind of IPA. Let's give it a taste. Cheers. Okay, Galaxy is much more on the forefront on the flavor. There's definitely some like Galaxy earthiness chiming in, but it's not crazy amounts. Super drinkable, dry. Oh man, dryness, please. In IPA, it's not just sweet, thick. This is how you want it, at least in my book. Lots of pithy citrus, lots of limey flavor. Very bright, singy. Maybe not the tropical. There's a huge hit of like pithy, bitter grapefruit in the aftertaste. That must be the Simcoe. Just like this really drying, pithy, oily citrus zest, like almost West Coast. It's not really bitter, but it's like an oily, resiny thing sitting on the palate there for a bit. Not like the most silky smooth and richest of mouthfeel, but that's totally okay. It's making it like, more of a crusher of a beer, which is quite nice. Yeah, that's really good. I will say though, like 6.1%, it actually almost drinks like some of the pale ales that they do at Verdant and whatnot. But that might be the age, because I think this was the 8. Yeah, this is from August, so this is the oldest one of the bunch. But it drinks really nicely. Also peppery and spicy. Again, that must be Galaxy too. It has a bit. That's interesting because that's something I mostly associate with old school IPAs. But like it, especially like IPAs with lots of hot side hops. It has a bit of a tea leafy hop flavor, and that's something I often find with age or like older IPAs too. It has a touch of it, but it's super light. Otherwise, there's a lot of brightness in one us. I think this would have been very, very hop saturated like 2 months ago, but it's definitely tasty. So let's try and jump on to Southern Pine. Very similar hop combo, just that Simcoe's been switched out with Mosaic. So Galaxy, Citra, Mosaic, 8.2%. And yeah, a cool, I guess, a Southern Pine on the label, maybe? I don't know. This one looks more like what I think of when I think of a lot of breweries doing hazy IPA nowadays. Like fairly thick looking and like really orange. And it also, that warm kind of orange color is nice, but often that to me just always, I can't, it signifies there's probably some kind of caramel malt in for coloring, but sometimes it's also just like golden naked oats. I think they give some color and whatnot. So, it's often just something I associate with slightly sweeter beers. But judging by the first one, it's probably not going to be. But yeah, it looks nice. Let's check out the aroma. More of an overripe Galaxy profile in this. Definitely more of that kind of sweet cantaloupe melon. But it smells like it's still, you can sense that it will probably be dry. But definitely sweeter than the single IPA, but it makes sense since it's a double. Actually, that's interesting. The single is, I feel like it's a bit more popping on the aroma. And this was from September. This is actually not, it's 8th of September, so it's like 2 months in the can. Yeah, it's got some mostly Galaxy flavor to me. That's like the pepperiness, that's the earthiness of Galaxy too. Like that's one of the things. Like Galaxy gives really cool melon flavor and whatnot, but it also has some of that classic German hop heritage with all that peppery, earthy aromas. There's also a little bit something that reminds me a bit of baker's yeast for some reason on this, just lightly. And then just like classic overripe sweet citrus too. Like classic, like that overripe sweet citrus, like orangey, tangerine-y, mandarin orangey profile you can get from Citra. Let's give it a taste, guys. Cheers. Much more bright on the flavor. I did not expect that. It definitely has more sweetness. But it just finishes dry. And that's just so nice. Like I'm just getting, it must be annoying to hear because I mention it so often nowadays. Like I'm just getting sick of sweet IPA, but it's like it's pithy, it's dry, it's citric. There's so much pith on this. Like I'm getting so much orange pith, like really pithy orange, but also juicy orange, tangerine, mandarin. But like both beers, nice, dry, and bitter IPAs. Does this, I think I can't really taste, in terms of freshness when we're at this stage, it's not like one, sometimes you can taste like, okay, this might be a bit fresher because it pops a bit more. And maybe on the aroma you could, but on the flavor, I think they're fairly on the same level, even though there's a double IPA. Maybe the saturation is slightly higher, and the body is bigger and whatnot. But I still might like that one the most. Just because it offered like some nice pithy dankness. Well, there's still a little bit of dankness and one on this, but it's just huge sweet citrus on the flavor. Huge tangerine, mandarin oranges. Just like a really classic sweet citrus profile. I think it's a combination of like all these juicy esters combined with citra hops and Mosaic also to some extent, because that also gives that like a mandarin orange kind of thing. But it can also go into that blueberry cushy, also earthy vibes, which Galaxy is also known for. So besides the melon, and this one definitely has more of that cantaloupe melon. It totally remind me of what's going on in the UK with a lot of hazy brewers that are doing these more pithy, dry, whatnot, than New England IPAs. That's also quite nice. Again, not blown away, but I'm sure when these beers were like 4 weeks, 5 weeks, they were probably pretty damn dope. They're still very nice. So let's check out the triple IPA. So triple IPAs can be hit and miss. Sometimes they're good. Sometimes they're just like really sweet, cloying, hard to drink, and alcoholic. But when they're done right, they can be very nice sharing beers or impression beers. So this is Where the Fuck Is Our Air? And this was with Citra, Galaxy, and Amarillo. So they switched off the Mosaic, Simcoe in the first one and Mosaic in the second one to Amarillo. So that seems like Citra and Galaxy, but that's also a really good combo. And then they play around with a third hop. 10.2% alcohol. So this also definitely looks more or less like a triple IPA because it looks thicker, it looks richer, which is what you'd expect. But otherwise, it's a very similar color to the double IPA that just maybe a bit more bright. I don't know, but definitely like golden orange color to it. What? Hey, let's check out the aroma on this bad boy. Yeah, really saturated, really intense. It almost smells like a combination of these two, but with more of a zesty profile, zesty orange, and that could be Amarillo or oily orange even. Amarillo gives that oily but also zesty orange, but it's fun because sometimes you can also get those kind of vibes from beers like this one with lots of Citra and Mosaic. This also has Citra, so that'll also boost that, but definitely some dankness to this one as well, which is really nice. Pithiness, dryness. All of them are mainly tropical fruit focused, sweet citrus fruit focused, maybe besides this one. Because it has a little bit of a tart tropical fruit flavor. I think maybe both of these also have some sweeter tropical fruit, maybe some mango and papaya and whatnot, but this one is like overcharged, overripe citrus, but it's dry, pithy citrus too, which is nice. It smells like it's going to be very well balanced. Let's give it a taste, guys. Cheers. Much richer, much drier. Touch of alcohol in it, just a light touch. But it's 10.2. So it's to be expected. It seems like the alcohol really helps amplify also the pepperiness and spiciness in this one from Galaxy. It's interesting. Sometimes you have beer with Galaxy where it's just crazy melon town, and also southern hemisphere style tropical grape and kiwis and things like this, like guana banana and pineapple banana, I think is what you call it actually. You call it many things, but all these really bright, really unique tropical fruit flavors. You get that from southern hemisphere hops, and sometimes Galaxies helps boost some of that, but sometimes it also provides more of these earthy, peppery, spicy vibes that you're getting in this, like white pepper or something, but it's quite nice. The massive thing is that it's dry. It's not cloying sweet. It's simply sweeter than the others, but it's dry, and I love that. Just a nice, again, more of a supercharged, overripe citrus profile on this one than this one. But also some of that pithiness, which I'm guessing is from Amarillo. These two beers seems kind of similar, even though it's a different hop profile. Smelling this might be a bit more dank. Would make sense because Citra and Mosaic together often provides, it's definitely more dank. Provides more of a dank hop flavor, whereas Amarillo is often more of that oily citrus to me. Totally. This is more towards classic juice bomb, but it's not sweet. That's the big thing. It has more of that juicy overripe profile, but it also makes sense. It's a triple IPA, and often with higher ABV beers, will produce more esters and whatnot. So you're definitely getting more of that kind of classic overripe, juicy profile. It's not too much. Again, it's not too much for its own good as you get sometimes, but it also go hand in hand with dryness in these kind of beers. If it's dry, it will balance it out. If it's sweet, because there's lots of residual sugar, it will seem even more juicy and overripe. It's just an interesting balance. It's pretty good. So far, a fantastic start, also considering the age of these. Willibald is probably producing some awesome IPAs. Well, judging by these they are, but when you were in Ontario drinking these fresh locally in air, they were probably really dope beers, It's something that I think a lot of people really love. It tastes like really, really well brewed IPAs. I'm just guessing with more freshness, they're even more yes, my kind of IPAs, because again, the whole dryness and everything. But I think in terms of grape, what do I prefer the most? I probably prefer the single IPA the most. Just because it has more of that bright and singiness and dankness and whatnot. Whereas the others are also really nice, but I think it's going it's single first, then double, then triple. Just because triple L sometimes get a bit much, and even though it's not too much, it's just I drink more of the others in the long run. Also because this is more dank. This is more that oily citrus. So ratings, let's go like, yeah, 93 on the 92 on the single, 91 and 90. Like, just a grade between, like, pretty much, because they are in the 90s range. This is something I really want to drink. You know, maybe these could even be scored like a 91 both, because I kind of want to tie them, and then 90 on that one, just because I feel like if they were fresher, they'd probably be in the 93, 94 range or something like that. That's just kind of like what I'm getting with what I'm tasting. But great stuff. Tasty beers. Check them out. You know, if you want to check out some great Canadian. Wow, why am I fucking up saying Canadian? What's going on? It's because English ain't my first language. I'm fucking up even saying that. But, you know, if you want to check out some very nice Canadian craft beer, mainly IPAs, Willibald is the brewery for you. Available on Beer Gym as we speak. So check them out. Link for the shop is down below. And thanks to Beer Gym for the beers. Yeah, tasty stuff. So if you guys had a chance to try any Willibald beers, let me know what you thought of them. As always, remember to comment, subscribe, check out the Facebook fan page and Twitter and Instagram. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Ring the bell for future notifications about videos. And I want to say cheers in the single IPA, which is my favorite. And see you guys in another beer review.